Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mestizo Perspective. I am your host, the French Olmec. Well, welcome back. Today, we're talking about the most successful, bulletproof corporate entity in American history. And if I could buy stock in it today, I would. If I would have bought, if I could have and would have bought stock back in the 1990s, I would probably be a billionaire by now. But what am I talking about? This stock has survived recession, inflation, pandemics, and changes in the White House, changes in administration, presidency, administration. No matter who is in office, the stock keeps going up. No. None of these dips like you have with Nvidia and all. No. This stock keeps going up. But what am I talking about? I am talking about the American illicit drug market. Did you know that right now it is valued at a staggering $160 billion? If it were a legal company, this would be comfortably sitting in the top 20 of the Fortune 500 companies. As you can see here, Target is $107 billion company. Citigroup is a $78 billion company. MetLife is a $71 billion company. PepsiCo is a $79 billion company. Intel, $64 billion company. Now, the illicit drug market, it just runs them to the ground. $160 billion market company. Can you believe if you had bought stock on this back in the 1990s, you would be wealthy by now. However, let me not say that I am promoting this because I am not. Actually, I want to make a strong point about this. Uh, Now, I want to make it very important point, which is every single week or every month, every so often, you see the exact same headlines on the news. A local police department on the or border patrol agents stand behind plastic wrap table with a serious face and they say, "We did it, boys. We seized one whole ton of cocaine, fentanyl, whatever, and the crowd goes wild. Ah! Everyone claps. They think, wow, our police department, our CBP, they're finally winning the war on drugs. Well, I am sorry to say, today we are going to do some basic math. We're talking elementary school math. And I'm going to show you why that 1 ton, even a 10-ton seizure, is not a victory. It is a rounding error. It is a publicity stunt. The truth is, the war on drugs has actually been a highly efficient war for more drugs, keeping the prices high, eliminating the small time competitors, and ensuring that the market grows completely unimpeded by incompetence, goodwill in corruption, or both. The thing is, this market grows thanks to corruption, thanks to incompetence, and even when he finds a good Lone Ranger, they make sure to cut that Lone Ranger out of the picture. I will explain to you all this. Just give me a moment. Let's consider the headlines that astound the public. Cops seize 1 ton of fentanyl or border bust nets 2,000 pounds of cocaine with a value of $100 million, $10 million, and everybody, oh my God, uh, a ton sounds massive because humans can't naturally visualize industrial logistics. If you dropped a 1 ton brick of cheese on my house, yeah, it's a disaster. But let's look at the supply chain needed to sustain a 160 billion market cap. Actually, let me visually introduce you to what 1 ton seizure is compared to a 160 billion dollar market. That's how much it is. This is what we're looking at. Do you get the picture yet? Now, uh, as we break down recently, if you were to try to fulfill this market, our drug market, with cannabis alone, cannabis, pot, whatever, you would need 22,600 metric tons or over 1,100 shipping containers. If you did it with cocaine, you would need 1,333 metric tons. A fleet of 66 fully loaded semi trucks. Do you get the pictures? 66 semi trucks fully loaded. If you did it with fentanyl, yes, you would need less. You would need 1,000 metric tons. Ah, now, so when the evening news flashes a headline about a historic 1 ton seizure of cocaine, let's do the math. 1 ton out of 1,333 tons moving annually is 0.07% of the market. It's not even a 1%. Imagine a retail store like Walmart losing 0.07% of its inventory to shoplifters or damaged boxes. They don't call a press conference for that. They call it shrinkage and they keep moving. The cartels literally write off this 1 ton busts as a standard cost of doing business. It's just taxes to them. But the government uses it as a PR campaign to convince you that whatever they're doing, immigrant chasing, LGBT busting, women controlling, war on Iran, whatever, everything that they're doing is because of that, we were able to capture 1 ton of drugs. And you think, well, they're doing something. No, they're not actually. That's just regular loss. But we got more for you. I want you to look at this timeline. Back in the 1990s, okay, when Bush Sr. was in the administration, the drug market was a $40 billion cap market. Okay? It was starting out. Coming Clinton, there was no drop to 20 billion or to even 35 billion. No, there was no drop. It kept on going up. Bush Jr. came in. Nothing happened to the drug market. It kept on moving up. Obama, greatest president, it took a little dip, but that's because they changed from the regular pot and cocaine to the synthetic opioids. Okay? And that's also when the online markets emerge, which we have to thank to crypto. Cryptocurrency has helped at some points. To those that know how to manage crypto properly, it was, at least for a while, a very good way of transferring the value of drugs, and that way there was no money touching hands. But anyways, we also have during the Trump administration, there was an increase, a significant increase until today. Yes, Bill Clinton didn't do anything about it either, so it's still growing. Today we have $160 billion market cap for illegal drugs. Now, I would like to see anybody that would be able to prove or show otherwise, because in this market we have an impeded uh, growth of 300% increase in revenue. Now, show me a single legitimate business that can quadruple its market cap while its primary adversary has a blank check from the government to destroy it. If the DEA were a public company, the shareholders would have fired that CEO decades ago for absolute incompetence and underperformance, just like the boss in the FBI. This brings us to the ultimate question. Is this pure, unfiltered incompetence, or is it systemic corruption? Because, see, this is the problem. When a system fails this perfectly for 35 years, no matter who is sitting in the chair, okay, uh, the failure stops looking like an accident and it starts looking like a feature. Like, this drug market is supposed to be here, no matter what presidential, representative, or senator candidates tell you. Now, I will have another video about this where I will explain a little bit more about the logistics on this. However, having said that, I would like you to understand that this is one of the few industries where a monopoly is welcome. Now think about how a monopoly works in regular economics. If you want to run a successful cartel, what is your biggest threat? It's not the cops. No, 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 not the cops. It's the competition. If any random person could easily import and distribute the product, the market would be flooded, prices would plummet, and profit margins would collapse. So, by making the product illegal and strictly enforcing the borders just enough to catch the clumsy amateurs, the government in the United States creates the ultimate high barrier to entry. In other words, if you want to start your own enterprise, you're not going to make it because all the players have already been bought and paid for. They essentially do the CBP and the cops at the border. They essentially do the cartel's dirty work. They eliminate the messy small time competition, keeping the supply restricted and ensuring that street prices stay artificially high. The war on drugs keeps the profit margins at a ridiculous 80 to 90%. I mean, go to Shark Tank with this. It is an artificial price support system. The cartels don't hate the war on drugs. They need it in order to stay billionaires in Mexico. Without it, they're just regular agricultural executives selling powder at commodity prices. Now, let's understand that there is a network of free commerce created between the United States and Mexico. So, in order to maintain this market alive. So, the next time that you see a headline boasting about a couple of 100 kilos or a ton of drugs being seized at the border, don't look at it as a victory. Look at it as what it really is: a tiny, insignificant fractional fee paid to the House so that the 160 billion game and growing can keep running in the background. Now, let me know in the comments below. Do you think that this is a case of multi-billion-dollar government incompetence, or is the system designed to keep this black market thriving? Make sure to hit please that subscribe button, share this video with someone who still believes the evening news headlines, including Fox, okay? And check out the podcast link in the description below for the full deep dive. Olmeca Frances, signing off.